With so many options for choosing accessories, how do you know to choose what adds value? And how do you know how much is too much? Well, to shed some light on that is Felicity Lerato Molokomme. Can you please define for us, in the context of interior design, what is accessorizing? And then why is it considered an art form?
It's definitely an art form because it's a way of personal expression. Just as an artist uses, paint and color, or musicians make music for their notes to express who and what they are, so do we with accessories. It's how you bring the vibe. It's how you capture the room. It's what the essence of the room shines through.
So, how would you say accessories plays a role in completing a space? And could you please give us some examples of how they do this in a room?
Definitely. Look, the best way I can put it is accessories are the piece de resistance. Okay. It's like you're baking a cake and you just take it out of the oven. You have to beautify it. It has to tell a story. You can go in different directions. It's either a birthday cake or a baby shower cake or something else. But those are the personal touches. That's an opportunity for you to bring whatever elements that make you happy or that suit the room. If you look into this interior that we're in, we're going, for the monolith black and white. But we've got different textures. You want to play with hard versus soft. It just adds the finishing touches to a space.
So you mentioned that when one looks at accessories, you also consider the client. Now, how do you do that in the process of accessorizing? Because there's your personal style, but most importantly, the client's.
The thing about it, when you are a good interior designer, sometimes you have to leave your ego at the door. It's not about me. It's me and the client collaborating so that I can see their vision through. What you also need to remember is it's an expression of their style, their lifestyle, their requirements, their mood. So I'm just bringing in the technical knowledge to help them elevate it. But you do need to take the best direction from your client.
What about family history? Heirlooms, travel treasures, these things are such a mess sometimes to be able to place. And they're very important to people, but how do you make them work?
I know, sometimes it's difficult. You'll walk into a client's house and they've got Danny's, kitschy china from 1942, and it's sentimental and they want it to be the showpiece of this house. So sometimes we have to compromise a little bit with the client, but you have to be creative enough to say, okay, I see this item as an eyesore. Is there something we can do some way? Maybe we can modify it or surround it with something that will actually take away or hide what needs to hide so that it actually shines in the room. You don't want to make the client feel bad about it. Everything that they have is lovely. It's awesome. We can definitely make it work. We're miracle workers. But yeah, you do have to think about how can we elevate this piece.
So can you discuss the importance of color, texture, pattern in accessorizing?
It is super important. These are the elements that give the room, that give the space, that give the design elements their star quality. Sometimes we have to look at, merging or juxtaposing pieces, just so we can have some friction, that texture, so that your room feels alive. If everything is muted and in the same tone, then the accessories that you've chosen will just, fall to the background. So you need something that's gonna pop and come forward. You need something that gives somebody a tactile experience. You need that combination so you can have conversational pieces with your guests.
So then how do you approach current design trends when selecting accessories in your space?
With a lot of restraint. Style is forever, trends come and go. The best thing I think for clients when they do pick accessories, they should definitely look at something that is grounding, something that means something to you and that you definitely have a space for. If you go for the trend, because Kim Kardashian is doing it this week, there'll be something else that Chloe will be doing next week. Now your house is just full of all these outdated things, and by the time the family comes over for Christmas, your house is so last year.
So when you speak about this grounding, is that what you refer to as the timeless elements?
Definitely. Like I said, classic things never go out of style. you have to find a piece that speaks to you, because where you place it in your home will actually, it's an extension of you. Your home is an extension of you. Just as you make deliberate choices about the jewelry that you wear, how you decorate your nails, what do? You've got beautiful glasses. It says a lot about you. You made a conscious choice. It says something about your personality. Your home is no different. When somebody walks into the room, they should know something about you because of the elements that you have.
So you were speaking about the space and actually placing some elements in a home. Where do you find these elements? Do they lay around the house? Do you reposition them? Do you repurpose them?
Yeah.
How do you really get your accessory together?
Yeah, the first thing normally when we get to the accessorizing phase, clients, I'll just check my client's inventory to say, what do you have, what do you love, and can we make it work? Once we've got that, then we can start planning as to what kind of elements do we bring for each and every room. And you can really have a beautiful collaborative interaction with your client, where we take out each and every element, put it in its different places, see what feels right, see what we need less of. And then whatever they like, they keep, and everything else goes back to the shop.
Fun being an interior designer, right? You can get your way.
The joys.
One more question,
Yeah.
and I'm sure our viewers are going to want to know. What are some of the common mistakes that homeowners make when accessorizing their home, and how do they avoid these pitfalls?
Okay, the biggest one, lack of planning. You know, they say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. It's so much fun going into the stores or taking a walk around Cromwell and seeing everything and just buying it without thinking it through. Especially in this age of online shopping, you just click, add it to cart. When it arrives, you didn't consider scale, you didn't consider, texture. Now you're trying to find a place for it in the house. You have to be intentional with what you're accessorizing. Just as when you go shopping, when you see a top or a pair of pants, you have to think, what could I match that with? Is this an outfit I can wear more than once? Then you make that decision again with your accessorizing. And I think the second mistake people make is they buy everything.
Okay.
No restraint. I'm not saying if it's cute, don't buy it. But you can sometimes tend to over-accessorize, and now your house just looks like a China store with you bullying around it. So you should exercise some restraint. And if you're stuck, just, call a designer like me, and I'll help you put it together.
It's been such a pleasure to hang out with today.
Thank you.
And honestly, I've learned so much personally, because I sometimes struggle with that myself. So thank you so much for inspiring us and for edifying us.